This call is now being live streamed on our YouTube channel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carpenter. Good afternoon, Jackie.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Denise.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Kate.
Good afternoon.
The recording for this meeting will begin momentarily.
Welcome, everyone. We'll just give it a few more minutes. We're still a little bit ahead of schedule here. And give time for everyone to join.
Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Christine.
Mr. Chairman, we have all the voting members. We have 1 more minute and we can start.
Thank you, Helene.
All right, Mr. Chairman, 1 o'clock. We can start.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephen Jenkins, the Deputy Assistant Director. I am standing in today for J.R. Sloan, Chairman. He is unable to make this meeting today. I call this meeting to order. Let's proceed with roll call.
Thank you. Representative Carbone, Michael Carbone. Nathan Young. Jeff Paulson for Richard Snovnik. Jeff Paulson.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Jigadisan Krishnamurthy.
Present.
Right. Eddie Cook.
Here.
Christine Ward.
Here.
Michael Carpenter.
Present.
Stuart Bruner for David Byers.
I am here.
Thank you. Ryan Murray.
I'm here.
Lev Gonick. All right. Let's conclude our roll call. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much, and welcome everyone to November 19th ITAC. Appreciate your attendance. We'll start off with any conflict of interest forms.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have one from Christine Ward for the 101 Loop 101 project that ADOT has.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll make sure to note that. As a reminder, this is a public meeting. We do follow the public meeting laws and rules. There is a link in the agenda to submit a comment if you have one, and the staff will disposition that. We will move on to the first action item, which is approval of the October 15th recording as our minutes of our meeting.
Mr. Chair, this is Eddie. I move to approve.
Thank you very much, Eddie. One second.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I'm
Chair.
not going to second because I'm going to abstain because I've never heard the recording. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. We will note your exemption from the vote.
This is Mike. I'll second.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yeah, Stuart's abstaining.
Thank you for Stuart. Thank you very much, Stuart.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to note that Lev Gonick has joined us. Just want to make sure you know about that.
Thank you very much, LA. All right, we will move on to the first project for approval. And that is from the Department of Transportation.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Haley Levine. I'm an engagement manager with the Arizona Department of Administration. I'm joined here today by members of the Arizona Department of Transportation who will introduce themselves after a brief overview of the project. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, the agency's integrated corridor management ICM response, such as implementing detour routes or adjusting traffic signal timings, are currently hindered by poor or slow execution. This is primarily due to a lack of complete information regarding event occurrences and the status of the roadway network. While some traffic monitoring and notification systems are automated, the overall process is heavily dependent on manual coordination and individual subjective decision-making based on potentially incomplete data. To address this, ADOT will be partnering with Parsons Transportation Group to design, integrate, and support a decision support system to improve real-time freeway conditions when incidents impact the Loop 101. At this time, I will turn this over to the project team to present additional information regarding the proposed project and answer any questions you may have.
I guess it's on me, Haley.
Yes, you were Jonathan.
It's fine. Thank you, Haley, and good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. Yeah, for this project, the hang on a second, got my wrong. Apologize for a second. Let me get my right screen up here. Really, the challenge we face here is an issue with real-time coordination. So like when an incident impacts the Loop 101, traffic needs to be quickly diverted onto our arterial streets. So our current system for implemented ICM or responses like setting detours, routes, or adjusting traffic signaling timing is falling short. So why is this happening? It's primarily because of shortfalls in getting complete real-time information about the event and overall roadway network status. While some notification and monitoring is automated, the entire process still relies too heavily on manual coordination. So think like phone calls and emails. The individual operator decision-making is based on potentially incomplete data. So this results in responses being implemented poorly or too slowly, which compounds congestion and introduces potential safety risks. You can give me a click. So this slide outlines the direct measurable impact of implementing a DSS on the Loop 101 corridor. This effort is part of a larger integrated ICM grant, and the primary benefits are in safety and efficiency. So we project a reduction in traffic incident management responses by up to 25%, and this is expected to reduce secondary crashes by up to 15%. It will also reduce traffic delays by 3 to 5%. Now, the system will use traffic data, incident data, ramp metering data, and automated vehicle location AVL to achieve this. AVL is a technology we use to monitor and track real-time geographic location, speed, and status of vehicles. So in terms of economic impact, the grant application estimated that an improved system could save up to anywhere from 5.4 million to 11.8 million annually in travel time, fuel, and emission costs for travelers. Give me another click. So this slide introduces the solution ADOT is recommending. So we've selected a vendor, Parsons Transportation Group, and they will design, furnish, integrate, and support the DSS for the Loop 101 corridor ICM system. So the system's goal is, again, to facilitate real-time freeway arterial coordination when incidents impact Loop 101 and divert traffic onto these arterial streets. This project will be specifically incorporate ADOT's existing AWS cloud environment. You click and I'll hand it over to Jonathan.
Thanks, Steve. So the proposed solution went out through an RFP process on March 4th of 2025. We received 4 responses, went through the normal formal process with all of those, and ultimately selected and awarded to Parsons Transportation Group. The award's currently pending ITAC approval, but they're the ones that the Parsons Transportation Group is who was selected. The solution, as Steve mentioned, would get deployed and utilize our existing AWS infrastructure in Oregon. They would be deploying a product called iNet ATMS, and that solution there would be used to effectively do predictive analytics and forecasting and projecting of traffic volumes and congestions on the highway system using real-time data feeds coming in from our another ATMS system that we have called KITS. And so we will use our existing ATMS solution being deployed for the real-time monitoring and real-time traffic signaling and management systems, and then use the iNet solution here to feed off of that and start doing predictive analytics and forecasting of traffic volumes. Next slide, please. This is our program structure for the project. We have a formal IT governance process that's in place that all of our technology requests go through. They're vetted and have governance and oversight on top of them. From there, the project sponsor and project owner, they sit with the business and they champion this and have secured the funding for it. And the product owner and the ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems Engineer, will be key stakeholders in the project. And then on the IT side of things, we have a project manager that we're going to provide to the program, along with a technical lead for data integrations and interfacing if needed, and a security analyst to make sure that the solution being deployed complies with both ADOT and state security requirements. Next slide, please. So project responsibilities. The agency is responsible for requiring and ensuring that the scope of work and what we need from the system is fully defined, that we validate any data that's going to go into it and come out of it, provide the testing needs, vendor management, and ensure that we're applying data governance to the program as the interfaces and data is being shared between the KITS platform for ATMS and the INET platform for predictions. Shared responsibilities between us and the vendor would be project management, fulfilling the requirements and documenting the systems so that when this is all completed, we have artifacts that can be referred to in the future of what the architecture and the network paths and security controls all look like, along with operations of the system. And then all the vendor's responsibilities they're responsible for upgrading and validating the applications, deploying the applications, providing training configurations, and then ultimately implementing the solution. Next slide, please. This is our proposed timeline that has us starting in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 25. That was the requirements and stakeholder workshops and things of that nature, designing. So the actual implementation and work for the deployment of the system wouldn't get started until the fourth quarter of fiscal year 26. And then we would carry it forward from there, doing some operational system migrations through those interfaces and partner integrations with sister agencies like City of Phoenix, Glendale, other municipalities that the Loop 101 corridor goes through. And that work will carry us through the third quarter of fiscal year 27. Next slide, please. Project costs in first fiscal year, our current fiscal year 26, we're projecting $720,000 in total costs. $448,000 of that is professional services from the vendor to come in and do the stand-up, and our purchase, our acquisition of the product itself, the licensing. Fiscal year 27 is about just under $1.1 million to do the deployment and get it fully operational and ready to go. And then fiscal year 28, we transition over to effectively a SaaS-based type with license costs and operations and support and maintenance covered by the vendor. And they would manage it for us within our AWS environment, provide us with that managed service through 28, 29, and fiscal year 30. Next slide, please. So this project is using a grant through the ICM program, the Integrated Corridor Management Program. There's grants available. The agency has applied for one. We've received one. We received the grant in fiscal year 18, so 2018. That grant is used for a wide variety of things. This happens to be a project that's going to under that umbrella of Integrated Corridor Management will fall under that and continue to further use funding through that grant program. The grant has been extended through fiscal year 2030, and we expect all of the costs of the project to be covered by that grant. So we can see here the federal funding is $1.682 million. That will cover the available budget for the development, and then the operational costs is an additional line item on that grant that will cover that $267,000 annually. Next slide, please. So what success look like? For us, the criteria is increasing public awareness and making sure that other agencies are aware of it and that they can onboard and they can use it to assist in making those decisions of looking at the volumes of traffic through the Loop 101 corridor and making sure that we are through closures, incidents, vehicle volume of traffic and congestion and items like that, that we're able to safely route traffic or partner with those agencies and where they might be able to make improvements on their side of things within the arterial roads to relieve some of that congestion on the highway. And so partnership with the other agencies, the cities and counties will be important for us. How we're going to measure that is looking for 25% reduction in response time in incident management, and then reduce the number of secondary crashes on Loop 101. Then we're also expecting to see roughly $4 million in cost savings to travelers after the first year of deployment. We want to measure that. And then an additional $1 million in fuel savings by allowing people to travel more efficiently across our network, our roadway network, and the arterial cities streets. Next slide, please. Any questions?
Thank you, Jonathan. We'll turn it over to the committee. If there's any questions, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'll apologize in advance if this is a ignorant question or you touched on this during your presentation, but is there a reason it's only for the Loop 101? Is there something unique about that corridor? Do you have an existing management system for the Loop 202, for example, or is this something you in the future would do a Loop 202 and you can piggyback on this to do, or is there something specific that this is only covering Loop 101? It just struck me as sort of odd, but.
Yeah, it's a scoping and a scale. We want to deploy first in Loop 101 because it does cover multiple municipalities. I don't know the exact number of municipalities that the 101 traverses through versus the 202 or the 303. But we do know that, or I do know that it is narrowly focused to the 101 to prove out that this works, to get the agreements in place, negotiations with those agencies, and then potentially grow this further in the future.
So you could piggyback on this new system to expand to 202, 303, and other. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Stuart.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm interested in the vendor selection and I guess in ADOT's reaction to the risk number 1 that asset staff wrote in the email, I guess, about the project, that using that vendor and the INET ATMS COTS platform is a risk because of the, I guess, significant reliance on it and its proprietary nature. What's your response to that there, Mr. Sullinger?
Yeah, we didn't see that as a risk. When we start looking at technology as a whole and we adopt technology in most projects, as you build this stuff out, you end up ultimately relying on some form of proprietary technology by whatever the vendor is that's providing you a solution for your given problem statement. And so what we typically try to do is look for the exit strategies and make sure that if we have a means to get out, we can get out. But we're not too concerned that the solution itself, if the vendor was to vendor deficiencies and we had to abandon the contract or go find somebody else, we would need to go through another RFP process and select another solution. But we see this as no different than any other technology or IT project, where that would be a similar case with another SaaS product.
Okay, thank you. I had questions about the project cost numbers versus the funding amount, but I'll let Christine Ward weigh in because she's better at that than I am. I really don't do a lot of math. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anything else from the committee? Back to you, Lily.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, ASSET is recommending that the PIDGE be approved with the following conditions as presented.
Thank you. These are the standard conditions. Is there any questions or discussions on these presented conditions? All right, I will take a motion in regards to this project, noting the conflict of interest form from Christine is submitted.
All those in favor?
Lab, I move to approve.
We have an approval. Do we have a second?
Chairman, this is Jaggi. I will second.
Thank you, Jiggy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, committee. Vote is unanimous, stating the conflict of interest. All right, we can move along to our second project, which is presented from the excuse me, Department of Health Services.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. Hello again. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Haley Levine. I am an engagement manager with the Department of Administration. I am joined here today by members of the Department of Health Services who will introduce themselves after a brief overview of the project. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, the Arizona Public Health Laboratory depends on StarLIMS, a laboratory information management system for central laboratory operations. However, the vendor will stop providing enhancements for the current version after December 31st, 2026. Failure to upgrade the system will create significant risks in functionality for the agency. The Department of Health Services is requesting to upgrade StarLIMS to the latest version, StarLIMS Life Sciences, to ensure continued vendor support, enhance functionality, and modernize operations before the existing version's enhancements are discontinued. At this time, I will turn this project over to the project team and present any additional information regarding the proposed project and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Haley. Good afternoon. My name is Kate Fitzpatrick, and I am the Deputy Bureau Chief over at the Arizona State Public Health Laboratory. With me today, I have Justin Constancio, the IT Project Manager, and in the room with me, Luke Evans, the Program Project Management Manager. Next slide, please. A laboratory information management system is a mission-critical specialized software platform designed to enhance the management, storage, and dissemination of data generated within the laboratory. It plays a pivotal role in minimizing errors, ensuring adherence to federal regulatory standards, governing laboratory testing, and supporting informed decision-making across laboratory operations. LIMS is integrated throughout all laboratory workflows and data management processes, facilitating the timely generation of laboratory test results, program administration, and public health interventions. Given the distinctive nature of laboratory processes, LIMS solutions are built with a focus on the operational intricacies unique to laboratory settings. The Arizona State Public Health Laboratory has relied on StarLIMS, a laboratory information management system, for over 2 decades as the backbone of its informatics infrastructure. The system is deeply embedded in all facets of laboratory operations, including routine diagnostic testing, inventory monitoring and tracking, client and stakeholder management, and quality assurance activities. Its long-standing integration reflects both the complexity of the public health laboratory workflows and its critical role StarLIMS plays in ensuring operational continuity and data integrity. Over the years, StarLIMS has been extended to support a range of interoperable systems, including the laboratory's electronic test ordering and reporting web portal, as well as direct interfaces with specialized laboratory instrumentation. These integrations have enabled streamlined data flow, reduced manual entry, and improved laboratory key performance indicators. Support for our current version of StarLIMS will end on December 31st, 2026, which may lead to reduced functionality, increased inefficiencies, and challenges in maintaining data security and compliance with critical regulatory standards. Next slide, please. Our proposed solution is an upgrade to StarLIMS, which is necessary to enhance the system's performance and stability to support complex workflows, ensure continued compatibility with modern operating systems, browsers, and security protocols, leverage new features and modules that will improve user experience, workflow automation, and data visualization. StarLIMS is deeply embedded across all laboratory operations. Next slide, please. Given the level of integration of StarLIMS into the daily workflow of the laboratory, transitioning to an entirely new LIMS platform is not a viable option. Such a shift would require years of procurement, development, customization, validation, and training, along with significant disruption to mission-critical services. In contrast, upgrading StarLIMS leverages existing infrastructure and preserves institutional knowledge, minimizes operational risk, and delivers enhanced capabilities with far fewer resources and minimal downtime. This approach ensures continuity of laboratory operations, compliance with federal regulations, and readiness for future public health demands. And now I will hand this off to Justin.
Thanks, Kate. So for the technology, this application is going to be hosted on a standard AWS cloud environment, similar to other agency applications. Next slide, please. The responsibilities from the agency are going to be our QA, vendor management, data governance, and communicate plan and the cloud infrastructure. We're also going to train our staff. We're going to have some super users who will then train the whole of the lab staff. The vendor is going to manage our data migration. They're going to implement the software. They will do their own testing, and they will also do our super user testing for their training. We're going to share project management and UAT and gathering requirements. The lab staff, project management, and Starlums, we work together on a pre-project system assessment to gather requirements and find areas for improvement, such as what data to migrate over. Next slide, please. The project is currently scheduled to run from December 2025 to January of 2027. The image you see is a general timeline we work with the vendor to provide. Once the project kicks off, we will work with Starlums to get more granular milestones. Next slide, please. The project costs are as follows. There's a one-time professional service fee for the platform transition and license. We have the LPH service support to our PH to LPH conversion. That was a one-time fee as well. And then our ongoing costs are maintenance for server and database infrastructure. And you can see those for the fiscal year 2027 through fiscal year 2030 are this, they are on par with what we have right now for services. So they will continue to be about the equivalent to what we have right now. Next slide, please. The financial, this is coming from the Public Health Infrastructure Grant, a federal grant focusing on creating stronger, more resilient public health systems in the U.S. through focus in areas such as support to sustain, enhance, and implement new laboratory information management systems. Next slide, please. So what does success look like here? We would like to keep operational downtime to a minimum, so we would like to make the transition as smooth as possible with as little interruptions as possible. Upgrading the system will reduce risk potential such as security, and we'll have new features, and we'll be able to keep up with modern technology. We're also with this, we were going to manual server refreshes should be cut down by 75%. As of right now, we do a manual refresh, application refresh once a month, so 12 times a year. And so now we will cut that down to 3 times. And our data migration, we're going to measure that success within 1 month after to make sure all the data has been migrated over appropriately. Next slide, please. Any questions?
Thank you very much. We'll turn over to the committee for any questions. Michael.
Yeah, I have a question on the procurement. So looking through obviously there's numerous LIMS systems out there. I see it doesn't look like this was done through an RFP. It definitely wasn't done through SFAR according to the pitch. I just wanted to get some info on your review process of vendors, the selection process.
We compared to other similar systems that we use in the agency and Department of Health Services. We do have an established relationship with Starlums, and transitioning over would require more training and take time to get our system back integrated and get us up to the level we're at right now.
Okay.
Anything else to that, Michael?
No.
All right. I'll go to the committee for any other questions. Stuart.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I will piggyback on Mr. Carpenter's question. So was this just considered a not practical to compete, or how was that? What was the category of the procurement?
Yeah. Mr. Brewer, thank you for the question. Yeah, we did quite a bit of analysis up front, and it was just going to be pretty much a scrap all of our internal processes that we have today at the state lab to go with a new vendor. It probably would have taken us probably 3 years, we're estimating, in getting back up to speed with another vendor. And so it just made sense from a logistical standpoint as well as a financial standpoint to go the upgrade route instead of a brand new laboratory information management system for the entire state laboratory.
All right, that certainly makes sense. Thanks for that explanation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Stuart. Any other questions? Thank you. Haley?
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, ASSET is recommending that the PIDGE be approved with the following conditions as presented.
Thank you very much. We've got 2 conditions presented. Are there any questions, discussions on the presented conditions? All right, I will take a motion in regards to this. Thank you, Stuart. Go ahead.
Quick question for staff, Mr. Chairman. I did the math. I've been having math challenges lately. It looked to me like there's 1.2 million in funding, but 1.4 plus million in projected project costs. And is staff really concerned about finance? I don't say that in a sarcastic way, but I mean, to what degree, I guess I say, does staff worry about, potential mismatches between the funding on the books, if it's not APF, and, what the project cost is estimated to be?
Yeah, great question, Mr. Bruner. Yeah, basically the $1.2 million is actually the budget for the project. We only estimate to spend, I believe, around 950,000 for this project. So we'll actually be in the clear by $250,000 there. The year-over-year costs were actually budgeted already. We're not going to pay, like Justin said, actually going to pay just a little bit less than what we're paying today, year over year, for the license fees and our infrastructure fees.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, that's already budgeted for under the current.
I noticed the operating, you said, is going to line up pretty
Correct.
quickly, but it was the development stuff I think I was concerned about. So, okay, that's great. And I sort of interrupted the request for motion there. So, Mr. Chairman, while I've got the floor, I'll go ahead and move approval with the two conditions as stated.
Thank you, Stuart. Do we have a second?
This is Ryan. I'll second.
Thank you, Ryan. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, committee. Vote is unanimous. Good luck with your upgrade. Thank you so much. Move on to the final presentation for Water Infrastructure Finance Authority.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Once again, my name is Haley Levine. I am an engagement manager with the Department of Administration. I am joined here today by members of the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority, who will introduce themselves after a brief overview of the project. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, the Water Infrastructure Financial Authority currently uses e-apps for online public-facing web forms that are used for capturing drinking water or clean water project application requests for funding, as well as a 20-year-old plus access database for accounting, loan and grant management, and administrative operations. Application data is currently in two independent systems with no integration into the state's accounting system and restrains the ability to add additional programs. Several inefficiencies and challenges arise, which ultimately create reporting and accounting complications. These constraints hinder productivity, transparency, and overall efficiency in managing grants and loans. The proposed system will be a centralized data management platform, automating project workflows and offering an intuitive borrower and grantee interface. At this time, I will turn this over to the project team to present additional information regarding the proposed project and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Haley, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to present today. Our team introduction. So as seen on the prior slide and what Haley mentioned, WIFA's mission over the past 30 years has been to maintain and improve water quality across Arizona by providing financial and technical assistance for critical water infrastructure projects. And this is from small rural communities to large municipal systems. So today, we're here to request your support as we modernize the systems that support this mission. And to demonstrate our commitment to this effort, we've brought the key initiative leaders today who will steward this project through every phase. So I'd like to introduce Garrett Corral, our Chief Information Security Officer, who ensures that our systems protect sensitive data and meet our state security standards. And then myself, Catherine Dickert, Enterprise Program Manager, as I'll be overseeing the initiative from planning through implementation and long-term success. Haley, if you want to go to the next slide. So project introduction. I'm going to briefly introduce the project that we're proposing. We have named it H2 Optimize. So in short, Project H2O. Pun it was intended. WIFA's current systems that support our communities through financial and technical assistance for critical water infrastructure are completely outdated and fragmented, where we rely on 20-year-old access database for loan and grant management, and we use manual workarounds to integrate data between siloed platforms. This complexity results in inefficiencies, duplicate efforts, compliance risks, and limited real-time visibility. This initiative we're proposing, Project H2O, it'll change all of that. It's a comprehensive modernization to unify our workflows, our data, and our teams into one single platform, which will ultimately enhance our service delivery to the communities who truly need it. And by streamlining project management, finance, and legal operations, this project will improve transparency, data integrity, and productivity across every level of the organization. And we believe that this investment aligns perfectly with Arizona's commitment to efficient and accountable government. And Haley, I think we can move to project responsibilities. Oh, no, we're going to do project proposed solution. So Garrett, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, members of the committee. I appreciate you having us today. It's been a long time in the making to get this here. I do want to, point of clarification is that by trade, by day, I am the Chief Information Officer at WIFA. I do have security responsibilities, and that is under my purview, but I rely on my very good relationship with our partners over at the Enterprise Homeland Security Office and things like that. So a little bit about our proposed solution. I think Catherine did a really good job of covering the broad scope of what we're trying to accomplish here. And I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of a technical detail on what we're looking for. Mostly we're looking probably at building on, we're a Microsoft shop. We use a lot of Azure services over here. We're not very AWS at WIFA. We're also a small agency for those of you that are unfamiliar with us. So we're about 35 FTEs at the moment and a couple of contractors. Little agency, big mission, especially when it comes to long-term water augmentation. So in all of this is we're trying to get a really solid, compliant, flexible, and scalable ERP core that lets us, integrate with larger enterprise systems. We enjoy being a partner of Asset. We will continue to do that, and hopefully in the future integrate this a little bit further. Right now, the legacy systems don't really allow for that. It's an incredibly poor borrower experience for the public. It is probably a security nightmare if Ryan and anyone over there were to look at it. It's just not up to snuff with the modern standards. Additionally, it's kind of tricky when it comes to disaster recovery. A lot of it is distributed on-prem backups in the state private cloud or in our Azure tenancy, but spinning up a redundancy should something happen is not convenient. So we want to make use of the Dynamics 365 FSC with finance and supply chain, or finance and operations as it's kind of universally referred to. And then use some of the customer engagement so that we can create a much more robust applicant experience, push changes, accommodate program changes, other things. Right now, the legacy system we have right now only really covers 2 of the programs, and it does it poorly. We have no change management. We have no real ability to push code changes. Everything is kind of in production, and we hope that it works. So with this, we want to take a very big step forward after a couple of years of thoughtful planning, document analysis, considering other options and alternatives, including other vendors. I think I've probably exhausted every list on every SFAR that might be there. Haley's been with me every step of the way. So what we want to do is we want to use our existing Microsoft environment and familiarity, because that kind of cuts down on a lot of the staff learning curve. They're already familiar with the products, the interfaces, the data models, and then we can integrate it with our existing government community cloud or Gov High tenancies where we need to connect things up in Azure outside of that. This also gives us, the ability to do our existing licensing under our current enterprise agreement without having to, go through and do another licensing agreement with another vendor. And it also gives us better access to workflow automation tools, Power Apps platform for building in some automation, which we have no capability to do right now. And it will give us a much easier way to create user access and system auditability and compliance, and have a more robust role-based access control system. So you know, without, I don't want to say without overhauling our entire tech stack, but you know, this thing right now is our entire tech stack. So this puts us in a better position to handle our existing programs, you know, the future programs that are coming through, the changes that come with that, and further integrations with our partner agencies. And with that, I think next slide is fine. Next slide, please.
We did. It's now on the due diligence portion of the slide as well as
Oh,
the
no.
technology. I think you might have spoken a little preemptively on a couple of things, but if you want to just recap a couple of things, go for it.
Yeah, and mine's kind of lagging over here because mine still says proposed solution.
So both have proposed solution as the top. And one is
You're
the
right,
operational and the other is the due diligence.
Yeah, I did get ahead of myself. I'm so sorry. So for picking this method, we did go through, you know, we've looked at Oracle Fusion Cloud. We have looked at a Sage product, Sage Intacct plus a CRM solution, and obviously linking systems introduces more complexity and points of failure. Ultimately, we kind of went back to Dynamics because, you know, a CRM is not going to function as an ERP. We were very interested in the AZ360 platform and joining that and having that work done. It's just, if we were having this conversation 4 years ago and AZ360 were in a point where it is right now and we could start this out, it's just that from when we started this, the system is kind of rapidly falling apart. So to go down that while they're doing a massive project of, you know, I think the next phase of it isn't really something that we comfortably feel like we can do as far as keeping this afloat. We would love to line up an integration, you know, later once we have that opportunity. That way we can share data a little bit more, you know, seamlessly back and forth. And then for Dynamics, this is the second integrator that we have looked at with kind of the same schema. So we looked at a one-for-one for the Dynamics product, and this one came out as a better value and a better overall decision for what we needed. But yeah, and I'll let Catherine handle this next part.
Okay, our project roles and responsibilities. So Project H2O is going to require collaborative effort between WIFA, our implementation partner, and our key stakeholders across our WIFA team. Each group has clearly defined responsibilities that align with their expertise in functional areas. So WIFA will provide direction on business needs, requirements, and data ownership. Our subject matter experts, they'll validate functionality, support acceptance testing, and champion the transition to the new system within the organization. And then on the other side, our implementation partners, they're going to lead the technical configuration and development of the system. And that includes data migration and establishing the secure architecture. They'll also guide training, change management, and post-launch support during our hypercare phase. So we believe that this structure balances ownership and technical expertise, ensuring that we build a system that's a sustainable framework that supports WIFA's future growth. I think that's it for project responsibilities. If we want to go to proposed timeline, okay. So this slide outlines our proposed project timeline. We plan to begin on December 1st, so first week of December, with our project kickoff, our environment planning, and our deployment preparation. So this phase establishes our governance structure, our communication channels, security framework, technical environments. And then from mid-December to mid-January, we'll focus on building the foundation of the system. So completing the project management plan, finalizing detailed requirements, conducting user story definition, and completing our gap analysis. And this early period is critical to ensure that we're designing a solution that's truly aligned with WIFA's operational needs. From that point, you can see execution here is split up into 2 sprints. So we'll start execution in mid to late January, where we move into these development sprints. And these sprints will configure our system components, implement our banking and accounting capabilities, and complete our data migration activities. And concurrent to the development sprints, which you can see on the line below, in March, we'll also start our full system UAT planning, so our user acceptance testing. So it's the planning and the preparation that will be concurrent. And then after the completion of Sprint 2 in April, we will conduct our full UAT with hands-on feedback from with the SMEs that will ensure the system is validated by the people who are actually using it. Following UAT, we'll conduct comprehensive training. So that includes both train the trainer sessions and with the vendor and with the led end user training. I think there's a hand up, so I want to pause.
Thank you, Catherine. Go ahead, Jiggy. That may be up by error.
Okay.
All right. Let's continue.
Okay. So we talked about training, and then after that, we go into our cutover and our go live in June, which is immediately followed by hypercare support through July, where the vendor and our teams closely monitor the systems post that launch to ensure stability and address any issues that come up during that time, and also support our users as they are adapting to the new system. Then the project concludes with just the formal closeout, final documentation, and transition into BAU. Project costs, I'll hand over to you, Garrett.
Yeah, so most of it, as you can see here, is mostly professional and outside services, primarily because we are such a small team. We are leaning into the vendor to provide a lot of that with a firm grip on the leash and a lot of oversight on the few of us that are here to make sure everything keeps going. I do project the ongoing to maybe be a little bit lower than what is here, is that we have I think a staging and a development tier that is baked into this first one that may or may not be required for the following years. So that is something to look at. But as of right now, this is mostly just professional services and licensing and O&M. And the funding for it is already been allocated money that is it's spread across all of our programs, and it's primarily money that comes in as repayment from our state revolving fund programs, which are generally protected from being swept. The budget is also not an ask from the ledge, and it is not expiring. So we do have pretty simple money here. Catherine, you're on mute.
Thank you. So what success looks like. This slide highlights what success will look like for Project H2O, both in terms of operational outcomes and measurable impact. So first, success means consolidating all of WIPA programs into one unified master data management schema. Today, we talked about that data is fragmented across systems and spreadsheets, where our future goal is for every program to operate consistently from a single source of truth. It also includes automated and consolidated reporting, reducing manual workflows, improving our auditability, and giving the leadership real-time insight into program performance. A major success criteria is the elimination of duplicate data entry. So currently, staff must re-enter information across multiple systems and Excel workbooks. This project removes these inefficiencies and reduces effort and the risk of human error. We also will significantly strengthen system security through role-based permissions and modern architecture that's aligned with the state cybersecurity standards. And beyond these structural improvements, success includes measurable KPIs. So for example, within 6 months of implementation, we do aim to reduce overtime hours for an accountant by 80%. So dropping that 10 hours of overtime every week, which is a clear efficiency gain tied directly to system modernization. From an end user perspective, we define success as reducing application submission errors to 20% or less. And this improves the borrower grantee experience and reduces processing delays. And then ultimately, success means WIFA has a unified, secured, modern system with real-time access to accurate data, which will enable our teams to better serve Arizona communities and maximize the impact of our funding programs. That's it.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Garrett. We'll turn over to the committee for any questions on this presentation. Stuart, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll be the icebreaker for everybody. We're used to dealing with larger agencies, I think, and larger projects. So staring down a 7-month timeline just automatically says that is absolutely not doable. You guys are believing the vendor and you're probably smoking something at the same time. So can you give me a sense of how it is you built up to this, to the 7-month timeline in a general kind of way?
Yeah, Catherine, do you want me to start now and you can add any color?
Yep.
Our entire database is about 2 gigs. It's relatively small in table structure. Is that I know it's an aggressively optimistic ask for a 7-month timeline that I could not agree with you more. Most of the work is standing it up, and most of it is out of the box. That's kind of how dire WIFA's constellation of spreadsheets are, is that we are using spreadsheets to do things that are basic functionality in softwares and systems that require very little, if any, configuration. So I think with the governance strategy that we have built out with Catherine and all of our oversight, I think we'll be able to, catch any scope creep or runoff far before it happens. I believe that most of it is a not to exceed without change order type of situation. But I think with properly aligning our little bit of resources that we have in here and all of our staff knowing what their roles are and what their position is in this, I think it's doable. So it is ambitious. I completely agree, and the risk of if it runs a little bit lower than that, we creep into 9 months, even if it were a year, is that even with that little bit of extra creep, we'll be vastly in a better position than we are today.
I think my concern is if you get the standard ITAC, my mind just went blank. See, you get older, this gets rougher. Condition of if it exceeds by 10% or more. So on a 7-month project, in 3 weeks, you've crossed that line, right? If you run 3 weeks behind, you've crossed that line. You're going to be back at ITAC, which is going to take you a month to do, and now you're going to be another month behind. And it just, I don't know. I think I'd have just baked a little bit of engineering margin of error into there, but it is what it is.
Certainly. I think, and when we get into that first phase of it, of really, this is tenanted based on the conversations we've been able to have and what we've been able to share with them and understand of our problem, is that I do realistically expect it to be a little bit longer than that. And I do expect that to be all fleshed out in that first December period when we kick off and finalize the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and Stuart, I think something to note as well is the confidence that we do have going in here, whether it's naive or solid, is we have been in the background. We created the work requirements document. We've been working internally with every department within WIFA, defining what it is that we truly need. We've built a program governance. We've already had this project structure in place internally for WIFA. So for us going in, we truly feel like we're hitting the ground running. We don't know we've been, the vendor could completely be like, oh, install us. But I think that's where our confidence comes in, is all of the work we've been doing to prepare for this project.
Okay, but it is an IT project, which always takes longer and costs more than you ever think.
Correct.
All right,
Yes.
that's my point on that. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Stuart, don't discount the smaller agencies. I believe in you guys.
We're small, but we are scrappy.
Yeah, you guys are like jet skis compared to the aircraft carriers. So.
Thank you, Stuart. Are there any other questions from the committee? Thank you, then. We'll take a motion. Sorry. Head over for conditions, please.
No worries. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, ACID is recommending that the PIDGE be approved with the following conditions as presented.
Thank you. Any questions or discussions on these conditions? Thank you. Now we'll take a motion in regards to this project.
Mr. Chairman, I'll motion to approve the project with conditions as displayed.
Thank you, Michael. Do we have a second?
This is Ryan. I'll second.
Thank you, Ryan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you, committee. Vote is unanimous. Best of luck and have fun.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you
We
all.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you, Haley.
I believe that does conclude our final voting item. We had the one written only item that has been, I believe, sent over for review from the committee. And I believe the only other item we have is just the reminder of the December meeting.
Thank you very much. Correct. Yes, we have written informational update. Next meeting will be December 17th. Of course, being close to the holidays. If for some reason, as a voting member, you'll not be able to make that, please make sure you have a delegate and reach out to EDOA so we have a quorum for our December meeting. Thank you all. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.